I am higher vibrations, and so are you.
Good evening. I'm also high vibrational, but I'm named Guardian, and I'm sending you much love from Transylvania. And it's pretty late in the evening here, so
Right.
we're covering quite a big, broad geographical point of the world. So welcome,
And
welcome.
you're in Transylvania, right? So what time is it there
Yes.
right now?
It's 9 p.m.
Okay. Ah.
Yeah,
So
like
see,
we have this time distortion thing happening because Europe and the US is not on the same planet, so we're in daylight saving and you're not for a
right,
week.
right. And Australia had theirs like a couple of weeks ago.
Wow, okay,
Yeah,
that's
I
even
know.
more messed up.
Yeah, it's difficult to keep up with the Tower of Babel of the times. The time of Babel is really what it's become. So I messed up and I told Guardian a time that was incorrect. So we're joining really late for him. So we'll be talking for about an hour today. So thank you so much for joining us today, Guardian. I really appreciate
Of
it.
course, we haven't had this awesome opportunity to talk, so I'm very happy to be here.
Right.
Yeah, like let's see what comes up. Like a lot of weird stuff are happening, and activations are through the roof.
Yeah.
Not just on a personal level, but also we're nearing some interesting events in the West. So everybody is on the edge and awaiting Halloween.
That's right. And then
Oh,
Samhain is
yes.
the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. So happy Halloween to everyone who's celebrating. We don't really do it in this part of the world, but it seems like a lot of fun. So congrats to you in America.
That's actually why I'm wearing my ears. This is my like I'm we do it a little bit. Well, I like dressing up. I think it's fun. But most of the traditions or celebrations that they participate in the US, I don't resonate with. So I don't participate as much, but I still have a 10-year-old, so we do, want to do some of the festivities because it's just that age group. But for the most part, um, I would like to mention that there's definitely some shift in the energy that's been happening. Like, as we all know, the whole thing about Halloween, Hallows Eve, it's the day before the 1st of November, which is really the day that's celebrated. And um, just the understanding of this annual thinning of the veil that goes for a whole month. It starts on October 11th, really, and goes till, if you look it up, they'll usually say it goes till November 10th, but then there's the 11/11 portal right after it. So it's just basically the elect from the this that window to November 11th, to the 111. 1111. However, our veil is already thin, right? And so we're having the annual thinning of the veil, and then there's the already thin veil. And from my experience, that's why we came on late. It was me getting distracted by telling Guardian. I've been having some pretty crazy stories or crazy experiences at night. So if any of you are having those experiences where there's some ancient ancient energy coming up that you've not connected with, or it's just kind of like an off-putting or something like that, that you're not alone. Though from Guardian's perspective, I saw you had a video come up because you just recently had some really cool experiences happen. Would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Uh, yeah, I think I released that video on Monday.
Mhm.
So yeah, like in a nutshell, in the past 2 years or so, I felt like I kind of plateaued on the my spiritual evolution thingy. Like I was very active and was going through a lot of transformation during I think 2020 and 21, maybe 2022 as well. Hey, it's 9/11, so I'm
Oh,
seeing that a lot for some reason. Okay.
yes.
So, yeah, but in the past 2 years or so, I didn't really feel that. I was like almost like, hey, like I guess I finished what I came here to do, and I'm just like doing more mundane stuff. and like focusing on those, which is okay as well. But it was like it feels like I was doing something wrong. Like I'm not having those revelations or those experiences anymore, so I must be doing something wrong.
Mhm.
And I guess not, because like this is also part of me like integrating more.
Yeah.
And I had the calling to like I see like a lot of signs like ancient Egypt coming up a lot, and also like my Thoth videos, like YouTube was constantly recommending them. I was like, why is this coming up all of a sudden? So
Interesting.
I took some time, and yeah, when I was alone home, and I really like to do these like traveling meditations or astral projections, like laying on the floor. Like I have a yoga mattress and just using that,
Yeah.
not in bed. And I did that, and I went astrally to the Great Pyramid. I laid down in the sarcophagus of stone, and there's like a lot of stuff just suddenly started to happen. So I went down to the depths of the earth. I don't know, like if people are familiar with the halls of Amenti. And after that, I entered a very interesting realm. I think also someone mentioned it in the comments for the video that it reminded them of something in Buddhism, although I'm not sure what because I'm not familiar with that. So it was like a huge lake during the nighttime, but it was very bright and very pleasant. A huge lake with full of white lotus flowers, and there was like this straight path forward on the lake. And I was going down that path, and in the middle of the road there was this huge, dark crocodile statue. Like if anyone's familiar with the god Sobek, an ancient Egyptian mythology, and like he was the obstacle on the road, and I know like he represented like death, and so I approached him, and he ate me, and I was like falling into darkness even more after that. So, and like everything that I was like dissolving in that darkness as I was falling deeper and deeper. And like until the single thing that remained of me was like my heart center, like a little spark of fire, like a star in the night sky. And then the proclamations came that I am immortal, like I am eternal life, and I am eternal light. So, and when I said that, then I started to re-emerge, and I was like reborn in a white lotus flower or something. And I was like this wispy, I don't know, like translucent figure, and ascended to the higher realms where I met. I'm also like a figure of light. I think he represented the Heavenly Father, I'm not sure. And I received like four archetypes for the next phase of my journey. So I will be embodying the Father, the Magician, the King, and the Warrior theme. So to embody more of the divine masculine traits and to anchor it more, hopefully, on planet Earth, because we don't really have templates for that.
Right. Wow. So you've been there before, but it's been a very long time. Is that right?
I'm not sure, like 3 years maybe, but it's not the place that I go often to. So, but whenever I do, it's something happens.
Right.
Like the first time that I went, I didn't even know that what it was, basically. Yeah, I can also share that as well. By the way, like, can you share here, like your screen or something?
Yeah, I can share. I'm just figured out how. This is a new. They finally are letting us do more stuff on this. So, are you
Yeah,
gonna
like, I
send
think
it?
I'm going to send it over to you on Telegram, and you can share that
All
image.
right. Let me grab Telegram.
Okay. I'm not sure where it is, but and no match. Okay. Okay, I will search for it after I tell the story, and yeah, I mean, we could share it after that.
Okay.
So, yeah, like the first time I went there, I wasn't even aware that this was a thing or what it was. It was in the very beginning of my journey, and basically, as I was awakening, like I felt this calling to like assist and protect Mother Earth with my skills that I can do. And when I was like, that was at work, and we were at the studio was at the hilltop, and we were at the top apartment. So we had a side of the building that was like facing the opposite direction of the city because like the city was down in the valley basically, and you could like see down below the valley to the city from where we were. So I was at the opposite end of the building. I was alone. I locked the door. And I had this like interesting experience where I went down to the depths of the earth, although it was very dark at the time because I was not aware of like what these things were, or I wasn't activated enough. But I like took that vow that okay, like I will dedicate my life and all my skills to protect Mother Earth and all her children. And I think I received some kind of symbol. I don't remember exactly. And after that, I came back and was like, okay, that was an interesting experience. And when I returned to the opposite side of the building where my desk was, like I saw that like everyone was out in the balcony. I was like, what is happening? And when I went out, there was like this huge rainbow, like over the entire valley. Like you could see it from one end to the other. I was like, wow, like okay, like also like Mother Earth was like I don't know, like confirming or like yeah, like a type of confirmation basically of like okay, I got it, son.
Right.
I'm going to hold you to your word.
I do remember that image. It's just one of those that just, whoa. And it
Yeah,
took
like
up
good
entire
thing
space.
that some of my colleagues had smartphones and they took pictures of it. So and I'm
That's
going
awesome.
to search for it and share it with you, and you
Okay.
can like share the screen later.
Yeah, we chat too much on Telegram now. I can't find any of. I used to use your Telegram because we didn't Telegram as much before we did more Skype. Um, I used to like be able to go back and find our old things really easily. That was like a good placeholder for stuff, and I can't find anything anymore.
I found it. Yeah, like I found it. I'm going to send it to you on Telegram
Yes, if you would please.
if I can. Oh, here we go. It's called Rainbow something. Okay.
Okay. Oh
Okay, I
yeah.
sent it to you. So good luck sharing it.
Okay, let's try to open it.
Okay, so this is the site that I've seen when I after I finished the meditation.
Right. Okay. So there's a trick to this. Oh, what's going on? I just did something. Okay. Um, so I've just been. Here we go. So you can keep talking if you'd like while I do this.
Oh, and also I'm
Okay.
sending you another picture, so you're in the mood for sharing. After that, we went to a wedding. Yeah, like can you like zoom in a bit
Can
because
you
we
see
see more of
this?
the frame? Yeah, I can totally see it. Like
Let
zoom
me.
into the image
I don't think I can
if you can.
zoom.
Ah, okay,
No.
okay. So basically, when I enter the other, I also sent you something else in the meantime.
Okay.
This is what I've seen after the meditation. So it was there, like everyone saw it. So I was not imagining. But yeah, like I never seen anything like this before. Although in recent years, like some very interesting aerial phenomena have happened, like double
Yeah.
rainbows and rainbows every day. But yeah, like this was the first time that I actually seen this.
Okay.
And yeah, like it was wow, an amazing experience, definitely. And I sent you another image. And like after that, we went to a wedding. And when we entered the wedding hall, there was this huge painting right in front of me of this, like from top to bottom in like a massive scale. I was like, oh, okay. I totally get it. But yeah.
Okay.
So this is, I think, like a few days. Like this was in the weekend of that week, and like this is the image that greeted me on the weekend when we went to a wedding. So I was,
Wow.
wow, okay, totally get the symbology. Thank you, thank you.
Wow. That's perfect. It's a synchronicity right there too. How beautiful. Being knighted. Okay, that's really cool. I want to try
Yeah,
to
like
come
it's
back.
amazing when you like have these super confirmations in the physical.
Yeah. Oh, it's so validating. And for you to have such a that pronounced, that's like you can't ignore those things when nature comes in and like basically slaps you upside the head and says, "Hey, look at me."
It's happening. It's real.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so you've just revisited the same place, only it's been how many years has it been since you went?
Yeah, I think I revisited it in like 2021
Mm,
and
interesting.
just recently or so. Yeah. But yeah, like in 2021, I already know it was the halls of Amenti. So,
Right. Wow. I zoomed in on my phone, says Lavender Sky Panther, and there is a huge cloaking craft to the right of the rainbow.
what?
Wow!
let,
Thank
let me
you,
check.
Lavender Sky
The
Panther,
right
for commenting.
rainbow.
That's really
Okay.
cool. And Elsa
It's so
says,
cloaked,
"Protect."
I can't see it.
Sorry,
I mean, it's so cloaked, I can't see it or I can't find it.
Lavender
But
Sky
for
Panther is a pro. That's one of the things that she does on her channel. She has some real. She can teach. She teaches people, or has done, how to see. There's the science behind it. And so
Mhm.
perhaps if she could share more information uh, to the, let's see, let me go back to that comment. She says it's to the right of the rainbow. So up above the rainbow or beside it. Um, that's really cool. I'll look into it too later on. That's really neat. And also says protect. Be key home beacon to shine literally means under roof like the rainbow image. That's so cool. Elsa does etymology, so she understands, like she does the back how to take apart a word to see what it means for real. So I find this very succinct that this happened with you in 2021 first, and then or the last time was 2021,
2013, I think it was 2013. Yeah.
2013. Oh,
Yeah,
I
with the
misunderstood.
rainbow. That's when it happened. Yeah.
Right, that's right. And then this other experience was in 2021, right?
Hmm.
And then you just recently had it happen again. I just find this to be really fascinating because the types of experiences that I had last night, I haven't had since 2021. So it seems
Hmm.
like a lot of this stuff is like kind of cycling back,
Yeah.
right? Why do you think that is?
I don't know, I guess we're reaching a new phase. And like I guess like we could like treading back the same ground, but now we are different and like we're reaching or accessing something deeper than we could before. Like that's kind of what I'm getting at it.
Mhm. Right. That, that makes sense to me too. I have a small group meditation that I lead every week, and in that meditation, we did it on Thursday this week. This last week was we did it on Thursday, and um, it had said that so it's a guided meditation that's channeled. So I'm also being guided in the meditation. I'm bringing this up because uh, um, at one point, and anyone who's interested, you can find it for free on our Telegram group. Um, I find it really fascinating because they had said that in 7 days, you'll start to notice the densities of the earth that have been stuck down here are going to start to make it to the surface, and just to be in peace and to know that you're okay. And I very much had some, you could call them what words that I probably would have used earlier in my life were psychic attacks, you know, where it's just very, uh, unpleasant night where I was abruptly awakened several times, always 2 hours in the middle of a really less than pleasant experience, and each time the room was full of energy. It's the best way I can describe it. And that needed to be healed and transmuted, but they came in like bullies. Like it's like they came in like bullies, but it was almost like now I kind of am more considering it far enough away from the experience. It did feel kind of like a reaching out for help, like to
That
help.
usually is. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
It's just
really
hard
do
to
good.
recognize it when you're in the moment, right?
When someone is attacking you psychotically and he's just asking for help. Yeah, it's
Right,
not easy.
right. What is your because you actually taught me this, so I'm going to give it to you to say, what is your suggestion to do when people are having experience like this, where, maybe whether it be when you're in your sleeping experience or whatever, what's the go-to how to immediately begin to resolve the energy so then you can kind of get your hands around it better?
Yeah, yeah. That's our favorite mantra. Yeah, like it's the Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Sabaoth mantra. Like you can find it online. So, and like repeat it as much as you can, like for many, many days. And basically, what it does is like tuning you to the higher realms. And like basically, it's calling in the cavalry. So
Right.
it's very, very quickly like resolves all these nasty situations, like all the cavalry, the heavenly realms, your guides or protectors, like come in and like yeah, like resolve the situation. Like if it's needed, like they can remove beings or whatever's in your room or in your field and just like put everything back to its balanced state. And like the way I did it in the past, like I repeated it so much in my subconscious, like whenever I just do stuff during the day, like I have it like rotate in the back of my mind, and it's kind of like becomes part of your subconscious, and I like made a type of I don't know how to name it, like a type of protocol or program in myself, like whenever something like that happens that it like kicks in like some kind of fail-safe system, especially when you're asleep. Because like when something like this happens during your sleep, like you're so like not present, like very dizzy,
Yeah.
and yeah, like it's just very difficult to find your center and power when you just like woken up from the middle of your sleep, basically. Like barely know even where you are. So like, but this is very simple to like remember it and just like recite it in your mind. You can also call it out loud if you want to,
Mhm.
and it really works. It's amazing. It saved my ass many many times. So highly recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that we in at least the language I use doesn't mean that it's the correct way. Is muscle memory. If you can kind of have
Yeah,
repeat enough, that it's like muscle memory.
yeah, it just like automatically comes up whenever something like that happens.
Right.
Or like you could start your meditations with it, like to like tune yourself into the higher realms more easily. Like you could try that as well, and just becomes part of your subconscious. And it's very, very important. I mean, it's very useful. You don't have to use it, but I definitely recommend it. It's very simple and very effective.
It's really, yeah, and that's what I ended up doing, and it really did help. But it was fascinating because I haven't had to use it for a while, and so I actually didn't. I couldn't remember how to say it in the moment, and so I did pull up though. I put it on the channel here. I'll grab this so you guys can see it. It's not clickable when you can see it up here, but if you want to type in that, um, this is the one that I prefer. It's like three women's voices, I believe, and they're all just doing like this beautiful chanting over and over again of the Kadosh 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 Adonai Sembayoth, and a song kind of sound. It's really beautiful, and that really does help. Like what Guardian said, it like commits it to muscle memory and allows it to um, be easier to remember. So like, and I saw earlier too, there was another comment, it's just calling the angels, and that's exactly what this does in my
Yeah,
opinion too, right? it's like the special ops team kind of shows up spirit wise, right?
Yeah, like a special commando.
Right.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, like I also had like an experience that you just described. I think it was like a year ago or so. I was woken up in the middle of the night. Although it's like very strange in that state because it feels like you're awake, kind of. Like I'm conscious and aware that I'm in my bed, and I'm also like sitting up, and it really feels real. But when the experience is over, you are still laying on your back, like so you're still sleeping basically. But it feels very real. Like I'm convinced I'm sitting in the bed, so real. So I yeah, like I was having that experience. I was very present, and yeah, I thought I'm in my bed, like I'm sitting in the bed in the middle of the room, and these very chaotic energies were just like swirling all around me and in the room, and there was like this very busy, chaotic stuff around me, not very pleasant at all. And I didn't really think about it, like in the sleep state. I kind of just like react to stuff in interesting ways. And what I did was that I like held out my arm like this, like if anyone's familiar with this is like channeling negative energies. I was like holding out my arm like this, and I was like starting to speak light language, and
Uh-huh.
like all that chaos just like started to like collapse in of itself and just like become like one spot in front of my hand, basically. So, and after that, it disappeared, and I woke up. So I'm not sure what that was, but
Right.
yeah, like, the chaos has been tamed and like neutralized, I guess.
Right. And we naturally have this code, this ability, this understanding of what to do in the moment. Like I think that the one thing that a lot of us fall into is believing we don't know what to do. Like that we're powerless in some way when we're not. That's a conditioned response that we've all been given, that we're powerless, but we're not, like like this hand gesture that you just innately understood, you know, that you
Yeah, I
just,
never used it before. Like I know about it, so I know what it is, but I never used it before.
right.
Yeah, like also regarding like light language, like it has many uses, but I think it's something that's not really talked about, or at least what I'm using it for. Like many times for me, it's like almost like casting spells in
Mm,
light language. Like
yeah.
I have the intent, what I want to do, and I just like speak the words and stuff happen. So it can be very potent and interesting.
Right. And it's useful to know, so you can know that you're empowered and that you can change your experience, and I had my experience that I had last night was uh, mostly off-putting because I haven't had an experience like this in so long. I was just like, what? And Guardian, earlier when we were talking before we started, you had said, it makes a lot of sense though because I have shifted, and there's a lot of things to align in the earth, in different places that we go, and um, where the area I'm living is famous for its hot springs and the many 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 generations of bathhouses and the types of and different unpleasant things that had happened in these places, things that were like slave kind of stuff, where sex slavery kind of stuff that I actually didn't anticipate when I came there. I was like, hey,
Mhm.
it's gonna be really cool to go to this ancient site, and you're just like, woohoo, it's gonna be a celebration. I didn't prepare myself. I didn't, build up my energy because I was going into a celebration. I didn't realize I was going to go do work. And so
Yeah,
it kind
like
of
you're
caught me
not
off
during
guard.
vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
But
also for big gas, like sorry for interrupting, like what do you want more input on? Like what do you want us to elaborate more? While Mila or Pamela or High Vibrations is continuing with her story. Like please write it in the chat.
yeah, yeah, please clarify your question. Um, Oh, and Lavender Sky says she emailed me some of the quick enhancements on the image. So I'm going to see if I can grab those and throw them up into during this conversation now. Um,
Okay.
so I don't know how multitasky I can be while I'm doing that. um, uh, I did want to point out before I forgot, though, just because someone had said something about what's happening in the planetary systems and stuff like that, is that right now we've been anticipating what we've been calling the Halloween comet, and uh, it burned up on entry. It didn't reach perihelion like we anticipated. Once it got there, um, it evaporated, it dissolved, and so I posted a short on YouTube, and I think I put it on Facebook also, um, so you guys can see that. But it just disappeared. It's gone, and so now it's a tail, but it's not um, what we were hoping. So we were expecting for like days and days and days to be able to look at this comet, and that's not the case. So um, just kind of wanted to let you guys know that, and I can now share that I found it and got it all set up. Let me show you guys real quick. So this is the image of Guardian's rainbow from 2013, and this is um, uh, Sky Panther did this. She showed us where the cloaking. This is a UFO in the image. Can you see? So the
I
rainbow's
think so.
here, and there's one here, and one here. Can you see my cursor when I do that?
Yeah, I can totally see your cursor. Yeah.
Fascinating. What do you think? Does it make
Yeah, like
sense?
I'm trying to like determine like which part of the image. Oh, I found it. Okay, okay. Okay, it's interesting. I haven't seen those before.
Huh.
Oh,
That's super fascinating. Thanks for spotting that, Sky Panther. That's really cool. Okay, now I can see what it looks like. I actually was over on the other side, so I didn't even. This is cool. I have been trying to wait to make Restream share screen for so long, so I'm really happy to have figured it out. So yeah, look at that. Pretty neat. Um, I would say we tend to have far more vessels in the sky than we realize. That they're literally everywhere, especially during profound changes in mind and body, which will usually have spiritual experiences having um, different occurrences. So that makes a lot of sense. Like there's somebody there to assist you, somebody there that's bringing in the balance and guiding us to be in the experience that we are. Like for instance, that particular profound experience you were having, Guardian, that was back in 2013.
yes.
And that was a pivotal period of your life. Like as I know you know, that really kind of pushed you and rocketed you into the next dimension.
Yeah, like 2012 and 13 was yeah like a huge turning point in my life. Like that's when I had my awakening, and a lot of weird stuff happened.
Yeah, yeah. And that was, I think, the first video that I ever found of you. I didn't actually realize I found you again. I'm sure you've heard me tell this story, but Guardian, I found Guardian back in, I thought it was 2012, but it was probably 2013. And he was describing what it's like to be hugged by energy, by these interdimensionals, I guess you would call them. And I was like, holy cow, somebody knows what I'm talking about. Someone knows, because you can't make that up. You either know what it feels like or you don't. And then he disappeared. And then fast forward to 2020, then all of a sudden I'm homeless during the peak of lockdown with a 5-year-old, because we just got kicked off our land. And I found Guardian again but I didn't know you were the same person for like a whole year.
Wow. You didn't recognize me.
No, it'd been too long, I think. Plus, you were much younger then, so you kind of translated to me as a like a teenager. Not to
Yeah,
be
like
offensive.
it's 7 years gap. So yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of things happen in those 7 years.
right. You grew up.
And it's still in progress. So yeah.
And ever since, so those of you who don't know Guardian, I put Guardian's channel linked to this description. He has some really amazing stuff. I I would say of all the things that I've experienced as a YouTuber or being part of YouTube and watching other people's content, the one thing that makes kids kind of sad on the heart is that people often won't go and look at previous recordings. Like if it's not done this week, then it doesn't count or something. And I just got to say, Guardian's got some amazing light language and different kind of codes that he has on his channel. And I also, in my channel here, and you can go to my folders and you'll see I have a Guardian folder, and it's like the three different. You have like, yeah, I know, I made one. I made it years ago when you first did the Blu-ray light language, the green ray.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What was the other one? I can't remember. It was blue, green, and violet.
Blue. No, violet. It's the scarlet or red. Like they are the three primary colors. Like those are the three colors that our LCD monitors use to create millions of color schemes and stuff.
Right.
So basically, mixing those three together, you can achieve any spectrum of the rainbow.
Right.
Which I didn't know while I was doing that, but afterwards I had this realization that that's how our monitors work too.
Right. Yeah. Of all the colors, you just need those ones, and you can create with the spectrum with light. You can
Yeah, you
create
can
any
create
color.
trillions of nuances of colors. So
Yeah. Yeah. And so you can find those. What I have done, the reason I sent a folder to begin with is I found that if I put, so once you create a folder, you can put it on loop, and so it'll play itself over and over. And I'll do that and then go into a meditation state sometimes. Just listening to the, your light language code that comes in is really beautiful. So I just encourage anyone who's interested to go and check it out. um, Yes, Josie, welcome. Good to see you, Josie. Anyone else feeling the intense energies today? Right, raise of hand. Holy cow.
yeah, like I
Um,
was pretty okay for the past week or so, but yesterday and today I was really feeling like something kicking in. Like I was sleeping so well last week, but now it's like I'm technically sleeping, but when you wake up, you're like, oh my god,
yeah,
it's morning already. Okay, like I was sleeping, but I don't feel like I was.
yeah, yeah. Because you're so exact, and the dreams have changed a lot the past week. Like, what I mean by that is, it used to be where I could have some pleasant silence of nothing happening for the night for some of the night before, and I don't have that right now. It's just jam packed full of experience, and it's like, come on, dude, just give me a, can I just, you know, have some of the old moments for a bit, and
Yeah,
then
I
time seems
remember
like it's flipped upside down.
you posted an awesome meme on your community channel. I don't remember the name of that comedian. But he's like in like bed and like contorted like this, and writing like it's 3 a.m. or so when you're receiving intense downloads and divine guidance. And like the guy is like, oh, for the love of God, just let me sleep.
Yes,
Yeah,
I can't remember the name
that's
of it.
definitely me. So
Oh, who is it? He was famous for his shouting comedy, Down by the River. That guy, whoever he is, I'm sure someone will remember.
I don't remember his name, but I remember seeing some movies with him when I was a kid. So
I think his last name was Farley. Yeah, I don't remember if I don't. I used to know celebrities really well. I don't do that much anymore. But yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's what it's been like. And then time slipped upside down too. Have you noticed that? Like day is night and night is day. That's what it feels like. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it just like it feels like the and I don't know which direction gravity is. Like I really feel like spiritual disorientation, I guess is a good way to say it. And plus I'm not getting the sleep that I'm my body's used to because I'm just so freaking busy all the time. And I'm annoyed by it. I mean, busy while I'm in the sleep state, like,
during the day and also during the night. So,
yeah, yeah,
not a great combination.
right. Do you have any idea or like intuitive knowing of like what we can expect? That's something that I feel like is kind of like a question that a lot of us, you don't have to be right. You just, I'm just curious if you have any kind of input on, because right now we know we're in this place of intentional division due to the politics that are going on in different countries as well as this one, and I know that the U.S. politics has like a grand stage for a lot of people, and the shift. I'm not asking who's going to win or anything like that. Um,
Place your bets.
what was that?
Okay. Place your bets. Like, are we going to be right or not?
Bets are closing because yeah, that is happening. On this coming Tuesday, so that's just like in
Yeah,
less than
less than a week. Yeah.
yeah. But there's like just a lot set and a lot of anticipation for these coming between now and the winter solstice. Really, well, solstice for the southern hemisphere would be the summer solstice. Um, I don't know. Do you have any kind of like, have you gotten any input about that lately, or like how to prepare for the next couple of months? What would be your suggestion to the audience?
I'm not sure. Like, I guess like being centered is really good, and like not getting caught up on all the extra stuff. Like the sense that I was getting in the past few months about this whole event and what's surrounding the event and what's happening publicly is that like everything has like already been set and like decided.
Yeah.
Basically, this is all just like a formality and like an educational program or show to like wake the normies up so they can understand what is happening or so so they people can catch up and understand like why are we here and what is happening, like who is who and why are the things happening that happen. And it's like I feel like this gradual educational type of things happening and playing out in public so like people can catch up who have been deliberately like avoiding any type of information regarding any of this.
Hmm.
I mean, we don't have to be all on the same page or anything, but like people, I mean, not everyone, but there's a large majority of population who is like so mis and disinformed and like so disconnected from everything that like we're in the middle of the greatest shift like ever, and you're still sleeping or like, what have you been doing? Or,
Right.
yeah, like, I think like this whole shift and like what is happening also in the past 4 years because like I think like people if would have been more aware or awake like we wouldn't necessarily went through that very slow and tedious process that we had in the past 4 years, but like the whole thing was more like for people to catch up and like wake up and like realize what is happening and like get your act together. And yeah, like just I don't know, like reset your life and like move in a new direction if you want to, and yeah, just catch up with all the crazy evolutionary stuff that is happening, basically.
Right. Right. Yeah. And just balancing yourself is kind of it feels like, like those, you see the people with the sticks and the different plates and they're doing this juggling act and then you have to put their plate on there. That's kind of what it feels like when we're talking about balancing ourselves. Someone's going to keep adding new plates, and then the gravity changes too, so like do whatever
Yeah, like
we need to
every
do.
day is different. Yeah, like every day is different. Like something works today and tomorrow it won't. So you
Right.
can expect that too, because like so many things are shifting so rapidly. So don't necessarily stick rigidly to something that worked so far. Like be
Right.
experimental and creative.
Right. And allow yourself to take, into consideration that this very fact, and that will always help, because before we've taught ourselves that if we figure out the recipe of something, the code for the thing, then that's going to work every time. And allowing yourself to accept that that's going to be shifting day by day, often, like you said, that really does help. You know, I just when I tune into the energy, like more and more people aren't buying into the intentional separation and division that's the main purpose of politics, and I really appreciate that. I'm glad when I tune in, I can see how few people are investing themselves, and um, that's why there's more of a push. And so we're kind of feeling it almost like it's like a background static. Like when your radio is not all the way in tune, it's like the static of like trying to get people to care, and um, being in a place of love and is the closest thing I can do to find balance. Then that's usually my first thing. That's the first step, and like, okay, let's go to the heart. Let's go to the heart, because typically these things have to do with, like pulling you away from your heart center and away from love and into fear, right? And there is nothing really to truly be afraid of any longer, which I think is kind of funny to say, because those of you who joined my earlier, I was talking about I had a night full of some pretty interesting and unpleasant experiences, kind of like Josie had mentioned earlier, um, in the chat, where it was really, when these bully energies come in, they feel like bullies and they're kind of on attack mode. It's difficult often to remember that they're coming in asking for help, because they would like to go too. And they've been trapped here for a long time, and where do the moths flow to? They go to the light. Who is the light? Well, you are. Right? You're holding the light. And so, like those movies when they're like, go to the light, well, they go to you. They're like, okay, and then they go to you. And so they're not coming in intentionally trying to cause disharmony. They're just trying to get your attention, and no one's listened to them all of these ancient many years, right? Eons. They've been stuck here, so um and then should bring up one more thing before I forget this. Not only did we just get sprayed by that comet, like that's what happened. That's why a lot of us on the 18th like felt that. And then when it went past Earth, we were still feeling the spray. The comet was breaking down. That's why it flashed, turns out. And then once it got to the sun, all of those extra everything has been spraying down on us, which is good. It's good stuff. It's lost code. This is the comet from our Aristotle. And then on top of that, this solar blast that we just got yesterday should be impacting us either tonight or tomorrow morning. So most empaths are already feeling it. I know for me, it's in the heart center. I'm having a lot of like um, heart palpitations, and like you too, Guardian.
Yeah, I thought it was me drinking two coffees today, but then I realized it was a bit different. So yeah, I
Right.
definitely can feel that too. And also, I think like, are we having like a new moon? Like it's so dark
Yes.
outside
Yeah,
here.
the new moon is tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. So that's why it's so dark in the nights,
Yeah.
because I usually like move about around the house quite a bit during the winter time, because I have to make fires so we don't freeze during the winter.
Hmm.
And I rely quite a bit on the moon as well. And in the past week or so, it's been very dark. So
Yeah. I I should pull up a picture I got. Normally, I would just put it against my screen, but maybe I'm gonna try to share it to myself and then. But it was really beautiful this morning. I couldn't. I was so here. I'll send it to you and then grab it. Um, this particular new moon is uh, kind of a big deal too, because with it, it's carrying a lot of this unseen energy, unacknowledged energy. And so as it does come in, here,
Yeah,
let
like
me,
should I share the image?
can you do it or want me to do it?
I can do it, but I think that you will have to permit it, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure which screen I'm. Oh, this is the second screen.
Doesn't
Okay,
say.
okay. Allow. I think it might be sharing. Let me see.
Yes. There
Yeah,
we go.
it's working.
You
Oh
see
yeah,
up in
there's the
that
moon.
top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the top right. There you go. I see your cursor. Yeah, I was like, wow, look at that. And like those crazy clouds were coming and they were much more vibrant with the naked eye, of course. But yeah, that was this morning at like 6:16 a.m. um so this particular new moon, okay, so every new moon, the concept with the moons are the new moon is the time where we plant the seeds or we sow what it is we would like for the coming month, and then the full moon is when you harvest or you reap, right? And so keeping that in mind, there's a lot of like unstable, unsettled energy right now, and so um, I find it important to consider what am I manifesting for the coming days and weeks, and um, allow yourself to take that time to choose wisely. It's not something you need to be scared about or anything like that, but um, as it's extra coded, we also are having today. You can see Venus a lot better than you typically can. So keep with no moon in the night sky. If you have a clear sky tonight, with no moon, it's going to be dark, and Venus is the brightest thing in the sky, apart from what we expected to have happen anyway with that comet. So it's a magnitude of 3.9 minus 3.9. And the way you can tell, it goes by the smaller the number, the brighter the thing in the night sky. So with a minus 3.9 is how bright Venus is. And it's perfectly placed. So if you're able to, take a moment to check that out. Um, and is there anything else going on that you wanted to bring up about the current energies and um, do you have any? I don't know. I've been taking over too much of the topic, is what I guess I'm thinking, and so I'm like, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, like do some meditations when you're anchoring more peace, love, and prosperity for all life. So cast your vote that way too. So I vote for peace, love, and prosperity for all life.
Yeah, yeah, and allow yourself to be in the place of power. Right, you are powerful, much more powerful than we've been taught that we are. And so take your power back. Um, how often do you meditate? Would you suggest a person meditate? Ian?
Like once a day, like depends on like how much you need it or how much sense that it have for you to do it.
Yeah,
Like I haven't been meditating as much recently in the past few years than maybe before. Like in the first 10 years of my awakening journey, like I did it every day, usually at around noon or so.
right.
And yeah, like it usually did something, I don't know, maybe just healed or just calmed down. And like in recent years, I felt like it's not really happening anything, and I'm more like annoyed by it rather than doing something productive. I was like, okay, I'm just going to like maybe pause this whole meditation routine and just like do it when I feel inspired or it feels more right. So yeah, like find an hour that really works for you. Although I also like I think like it was 1 year when I moved my meditation towards like bedtime or so. Yeah, like that's when our little girl was born. And then when everyone was asleep, it was quiet in the house and I could meditate. It was pretty nice because it calmed you down and you got centered, did some protection work, and after that just like let it go and just like go to sleep. It's, it could be a good practice too if you're having
Right.
difficulty sleeping. Like yeah, like clearing stuff out, centering yourself, and like in this super relaxed state, and just go to sleep.
I find it to be the most impactful time to do the meditations as well as at night. I'll do it almost before I go to sleep, exactly like you said. And you don't we I find that I don't really need to meditate sitting up, but that's what I typically will think I want to do. It depends on what you're doing. If you're doing chakra alignments, it has to do with your chakras. It's important to have the posture, and if you want to do it laying down, just to make sure that you don't have an overstuffed pillow or something like that, and to bend your knees slightly, so that way your chakras are lined up straight. But I like meditating laying down. I just usually fall asleep if I do it. But
It's very
then
risky.
what's
Yeah, I
that?
know. Like the first time, it's very risky that you're going to fall asleep. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the first time that I tried to meditate was on my back. It was like this crazy reaction that my body had. I was on my back, and I usually leave my arms like this for some reason. It's more comfortable, and I was so relaxed I could feel that I was like slipping. Like I'm just going to like slip away, and like in a few seconds I'm going to be asleep. And all of a sudden my arms raised themselves and just like hit me in the chest, like wake up. I was like, whoa, like how did that happen?
That's funny.
Yeah, it was very surprising. It never happened before. I mean,
So you
it
didn't
didn't
do it
happen.
on purpose.
No, I didn't do it on purpose. I was almost asleep. So
Wow.
I'm not sure what that was, but it didn't happen ever since. So
It's like the teachers coming along with the ruler and hitting the desk to wake you up and make you focus.
yeah,
That's funny.
probably something like that. Yeah.
And allowing ourselves to do other things sometimes will help us early on in meditation. Like I remember my big thing about meditation was it was about sitting quietly and clearing your mind and just sitting there. And I'm somebody who, like, I go places automatically, and so it's very difficult for me to like stay still energetically, you know. And I find it really useful when I'm in like a guided meditation, you know, or in some situations we allow ourselves to, like I'll now connect and do a channeled guided meditation myself, but it's not like it's someone else's voice. It's my higher self and stuff. Um, but we get to go do stuff. We get to go places and explore places, and we're going to the Akashic. We're going within the earth. We're going here. We're going up there, and it's not just about sitting in silence and observing your breath. There's a lot more to it. And so I just wanted to say that as well, because I know that's been a question that's been brought up to me the past 2 weeks, is about meditation. How important is meditation? And I would say that when it comes to awakening, clearing yourself, and finding alignment, meditation's right up on the top of the importance list, right?
Yeah. On your priority list, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, like
Right.
another good trick that I use is like find some kind of meditation music. Like it doesn't have to be a guided meditation, but just find some kind of. There's a ton of meditation music online. Like I think it's called one of them is like Meditative Mind. That's a good YouTube channel. There's Metaverse Music. It has nothing to do with Facebook. Like the guy did the YouTube channel way before Facebook
Right.
changed his name. So Yeah, like he has some very awesome background musics for meditation. And yeah, it usually keeps me focused because, like, if just as you said, like if you're sitting in complete silence and you just kind of like lose track of what is happening or just like drift in some other direction, but like the music like keeps you in check and like focused on what you're doing, at least on
Yeah.
my end.
Yeah. There's some really good ones. I posted, so anyone who would like to just find some that are already around, like on my um YouTube channel, you go to the folders again, and I have one that's called like higher frequency music for meditation or something like that. Um and there's a couple other ones, like there's this light body activation one, and there's a couple of different things, but just to get examples, there's like probably altogether, anywhere between 80 to 100 different examples on that folder, and those are pretty cool. There's not any words or anything, and it really does bring in what I like to do is I'll have it on playing on my computer while I'm doing meditation with people. And just like Guardian said, it just kind of tunes your frequency, I think, and it like really helps to focus the and uh, quiet out all of the distortion on the outside energetically, I guess is a way to say it.
Mhm.
It's really cool. And you can find ones that are specific for areas, for specific chakras. And as you'll see in some of the examples on that folder, you know, um, and above all else, right now at this time, giving yourself permission to be human and to be okay with giving yourself the rest that you need. You know, like I would say that that's one of the things that people seem to struggle with the most right now is being okay and not feeling guilty or shameful about needing to rest and not getting as much done. We'll be getting a lot more done in the next little while. Right now, it's time to rest, right? And so it's okay. It does feel like a respite period because the real work is about to begin.
Yeah, like also nature is going in the more rest state and phase.
Right,
It's also I always mention it like during the New Year's period. I mean, around that time that we have this concept in the Western culture that it's like New Year and new life and like New Year's resolution, and it's a great time to start big things. And like when you look at nature, like everything is sleeping,
yeah,
everything is hibernating and regenerating, and stuff only start during the how do you call that, the spring solstice, I believe, like when day and night balances out. Like
yeah.
that's when life starts to kick back in again.
Equinox.
The equinox, oh my, I always mix those up. So
Guardian is it's really fascinating that you speak so English so well that I often forget that you don't live anywhere where people speak English.
no, like I'm Hungarian. So everyone around here speaks Hungarian and Romanian. So
Right,
the only opportunity I have to speak English is online and with people from work. So I'm
right,
connected with people across Europe through my art team. And that's the only other place that I can speak in English or these amazing opportunities. Yeah.
right. And so
But if
just,
you like go back many years, if you go back a few years, you can see my first video. So it was not as I was not as well spoken in English as I am now. You could still feel that heavy Eastern European accent in my voice.
well, it's nearly flawless, these days. So it's been really fun to I forget. And then you ask for a word and it's like, oh yeah, right, of course. He doesn't know all these.
There are certain words that I don't use very often, and they're like this tongue twister. I'm not used to saying out loud. For
Yeah.
example, I can't say the word rural or or
Rural. Yeah, that's a hard word
rural,
for me to
yeah,
say.
or regularly, yeah. I think I nailed it, but yeah, something like that.
Regularly. Yeah, there's a couple of words I'll avoid. I have I'll do like a Rolodex thesaurus thing in my head where I'll just like zoom, find a different word. Let's replace that word with one that's easier to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, well, I guess we should probably wrap it up because you have it's like it's a is it 11:11 or 10:11 your time?
10:11. Yeah.
Yeah, so we probably need to let you go to bed because you have
Hey, it's Ellen. Hey, hello, Ellen. Hi. She
I
just joined. Yeah.
right.
Okay. Yeah, like also Jenna said about the meditation music, like not using it anymore. Yeah, like depending on what you start using, like I don't know, just listen to it for a bit. Like, does this resonate right now?
Right.
Or it also can be distracting if it's too loud, or if it's like too, I don't know, like
Yeah.
it's not neutral enough. For example, like if you have something very concrete and like potent, then it can like color your experience or
Hmm.
like lead it in a direction that maybe you wouldn't want to take it. So try to
Yeah.
find something very neutral and something that's actually like a background music that like allows you to do stuff without music. Oh yeah, like something that doesn't influence you basically. Because
Right.
like in that super trance state, we are highly what's the word, like influenceable, or like we can easily be influenced,
Yeah.
like just like these subtle sounds and like the tone of the music or the feeling that it gives you will color that experience. So choose your music wisely.
Right. I'm the same. Like I'll start something and usually I'm like, no, I gotta turn that down. It's too bright, too loud. And it's we don't need to be distracted by it. It's meant to bring us into a higher frequency state, is all. But um and I would say that if when I'm doing group meditations, I don't use music as often, though when I'm doing meditation on my own, I always am. It's also like it kind of quiets out outside noises that would otherwise distract me and grab my attention, So it's useful, but it just depends on the situation and the moment that I'm in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, And then just remember that we need, right now, this is a time a lot of people start to forget that they are in need of a higher quantity of water than is typical, because it's getting colder. But yeah, we still need the water. And to ground, it's more difficult to ground this time of year for people in the colder climates because the ground is frozen or it's too cold on the feet. So there's a couple of ways around it, but one of those things is to bring the soil into the house and to set your feet on top of it for a few minutes every day. That really helps. But then you could also, one thing I've been doing the past few years is I'll put my bare feet on the root of a tree that, like just like the trunk part where the root is just starting to go into the ground, um, and grounding in this way, and communing with trees. Even though they're in their dormancy, they're just slower speaking, but they're still speaking to you. And right now, the waking up of the trees has been really fascinating. Being able to connect with them in a higher frequency way, it's been really fun.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before we get going?
No, no,
Okay.
I'm not receiving anything here.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining me today, Guardian. This was a lot of fun. I always look forward to talking with you. It's always a good time.
Yeah, I'm happy we did it. Yeah, like do you have something on the 11/11 portal?
I don't know when that even is. Let's check it out.
It's
Well,
on Monday in 2 weeks.
I I don't think I think we could, if you would like, we could.
Okay. Well, we can communicate later
Yeah.
also.
Okay. Okay. Um yeah, and so just keeping in mind one more time, here comes the 111 portal on 11/1. So on Friday, we are having our group Zoom meeting for the Northern Hemisphere. Tomorrow is the 111 portal for the Southern Hemisphere, and it's already Halloween for them. So just those who are sensitive to energy, right now that's probably the same day we're going to be getting the impact of this energy coming from the solar flare that left the sun yesterday. Um, just be gentle with yourself. Take the time that you need. There's a lot of other activity going on with it being Halloween and all that stuff, and just pace yourself. Is all is the guidance I'm being given for that. And thank you all for all of your comments and
Yeah,
input. I really appreciate it.
we received more than 100, so thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Guardian. And I'll see you all again really soon. And Guardian will be joining me again at some point in the near future, I'm
Hope
sure.
so. Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
happy Halloween and see you all soon.
Happy Halloween.